All right, so we're back. I'm Ricky.
I'm Hollis.
Yeah, we're doing another video commentation. Yes. We got the elimination rounds from the store championship in Giga-bites in Marietta, Georgia.
Yes.
We got a rematch here from the Swiss rounds that we posted earlier.
That's correct.
Yeah, we got Zach again.
Yep, Zach is hitting me up with an EH. I'm playing my good old Andromeda.
Yep.
Because I love playing something that no one looks at.
Yeah, nobody plays near Earth Hub either. Nobody plays Sweeps Week.
Card. What are those cards? No. And Zach has an excellent start. I mean, he's got, he basically could not have better versus Andy, really. I mean, 2 ice, and he's got the Sweeps Week. So, I mean, he basically just hedge funded twice with 2 ice.
Yes. It's the biggest baby.
Yeah, man, that's a super baby.
Super babe.
That's a huge baby.
But luckily, you don't have a bad start either. You got Desperado, you got Sure Gamble, you've also got what is apparently a dirty laundry.
Yep. Pretty sweet deal. Sweet deal.
Difference being that yours is a little more guaranteed.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's okay. That's the whole point. That's why people play Andromeda, and that's why people play in Near Hub.
Yeah.
But you get out something very early and gives a really big tell as far as what your build is.
Right. What I'm thinking at this point is I know that the NEH decks generally don't run very strong code gates. This is before, ordering Chaos.
Yes.
So I pretty much figured I can toss this Refractor down, not really care too much about getting a program trash, because most NEH decks don't really even run that either.
Yeah.
So I'm being a little risky by doing this, playing this down this early. Probably a little irresponsible, but I've played them before, and I'm used to this matchup a little bit, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And then Near Hub continues to do what it does best, and it builds remotes.
Yep.
And particularly, Zach puts out a lot of remotes really quickly, which is actually very surprising. What does it tell you? What do you think is going on here?
What it tells me is that he's got a lot of asset econ that he's ready to start using. It could tell a few things. I imagine immediately when he played all 3, I was in my head I thought maybe one's a San. I imagine one was a San and the other might be a daily business show, but the thing is I don't know. Yeah. So I say, hey, let me just run one, just in case. Let me just try it.
Yeah. And what a lot of people in Near Hub are doing, or just in general, is that they'll bluff it out. There's a lot of remotes, particularly Zach in this one right here. They'll try to bluff out maybe a Beal, but I mean, man, people try to bluff out like an Asterisk.
Right.
And get that out early, and then it's always just like
yeah.
God, I should have run that. And then maybe that encourages a style of play with the runners where they're like, all right, well, I'm going to start running remotes.
Exactly.
And you're obviously, after a bluff like that, you're not going to try that again. Maybe, right. But, maybe make them waste their time. Make them think twice about not checking remotes. And it's like, great, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's most of the time playing an agenda, just without thinking about it, naked is a really bad idea. But if it's a runner that's pretty confident that you wouldn't be that bold, right? Because I mean, and there are runners like that. You stand a pretty good chance of taking advantage of them. I guess predicting your behavior, and you can get an edge out.
Yeah, but it looks like you're taking stabs. You're doing what you need to do to kind of get those agendas out early. Right. And you're stabbing HQ a couple of times. You really kind of have to do what you got to do. Difference versus playing something like RP where you're not going to be able to do the stabs as often as you'd like. Here, you got to keep going. You got to.
Yeah, I mean, they can really. The great thing about NEH is that they're so fast, and if you don't try to hit HQ early, they can needle. I mean, agendas will needle through. That Astro will needle through, and that's how they win the game.
Exactly.
So I have also a strong feeling that the reason why he's not rezzing the ice on HQ is because it's a code gate, and he just doesn't want to lose the money. I don't know, but that's my thinking. Because I mean, if he could keep me out, I'm pretty sure he would. Yeah. But instead, he's letting me hit HQ. So it's either he doesn't have an agenda, or he doesn't want to waste the money to res the ice.
Yeah, exactly. Playing Near Hub, it's varied since its beginning. And it's still, honestly, it's stayed strong. It's only gotten stronger since coming out. A lot of people, maybe not so happy with that. But regardless of opinions or anything else, Near Hub continues to be, even to this day, after Ordering Chaos has come out, it's still pretty strong.
Yes.
And really just comes down to a lot of things have been added to it. Their ice suites have been changed up a lot. A lot of things have changed, but what it really comes down to is just when those agendas come to you. When you, I mean, like, you know, hey, do I have what I need to score something out? Do I have the money? Do I have the money necessary to score them out? And do I get that right flow? It's the flow, and Daily Business Show really changes that. So if you're ready for the agendas to come at you, you can take it. If you're not ready and you're like, all right, so hey, I need to put this at the bottom of my deck. I'm not ready to score that agenda yet. If I need it, I'll go get it with like fast track something later.
Right.
You know, there's just a lot of options, and you can mitigate, you know, just the random like, I'm flooded.
And I mean, in this case here, he has a great splash here that helps with that. You know, with his drawing, he runs Errand Boy, which it won't in the run, but I mean, he basically, you know, he gets to draw the card. You know, that triggers his Daily Business Show, and then, you know, if he likes that card, he gets to draw again.
Right.
Then he gets the option if he wants to, you know, to gain the credit. So it's actually not that bad. Errand Boy really does pay for itself.
Yeah. It's only one influence.
Yep.
I guess the only weakness really being is that it's easily parasited, but you know, it's also 3 subs to break with like mimics, so it's fairly taxing if you, and it endorses people not breaking it, which is okay for you.
Yeah.
You know.
I hit 1 card, and of course it's not a agenda. He has 7 in his hand, so
yeah,
pretty good. He's in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah. An interesting thing with DBS, Daily Business Show, it fires off of both turns.
Yep.
So like when your turn ends, even though you use Daily Business Show at the start of your turn, when their turn starts and you happen to draw a card during their turn, like with Errand Boy, it fires. It's you know, it's interesting.
One thing that his digging with Errand Boy, you know, basically I guess telegraphed to me is that he's digging for something. I don't know if it's another Jackson. I don't know if it's you know, pieces to the Fast Advance puzzle, if you will. But I mean, he obviously found a compelling reason to draw cards. There was a compelling reason he had to draw cards.
As if Near Hub wasn't good at drawing cards as it is.
Yeah, I at the time I thought maybe the issue was. At that time, I thought the issue was that he was looking for a Sansan or a Biotic Laborer, and I didn't know which one it was, but I figured it was one of them.
So he starts setting up a remote there with ice, and you know, that, I mean, usually when you set up a remote like that in Near Hub, a lot of times people leave that Sansan naked. You know, some people will put out like a pop-up window in front of it to make them cost more to trash.
Well, yes, and also something else to consider is that you can't. I think there is a what's it called? Like there's a lot of people are narrow-minded when they think about how the server is created. They look at just the assets as the means to create the server. I mean, even if he doesn't have an asset, if he doesn't actually have an asset at this point, he can just toss a random piece of ice.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't plan on using it
for card draw. Yeah.
Yeah, just for the sake of draw the card, and it builds momentum.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, just he installs that card and he calls it a day.
Yeah. And he puts something else in there. I mean, either or, you know, whether he actually intends to protect it or not, or just make it cost more, it's something that needs to be taken care of eventually.
Yeah.
A lot of the strategy versus Near Hub before was basically kind of saying like, hey, I'm going to go trash all your pads. I'm going to make sure your economy's cut off. But you know, strategy versus Near Hub has changed dramatically. With new cards being released, and you know, people got used to playing it after a while. I think
people just realize you have to be kind of blitzy. I mean, you can't sit around and wait, because if they have the combo pieces and the Astro gets scored, once that train has started, you cannot stop it, barring something awesome.
So love this play here. Basically, you know, bluffing out something maybe like a Sansan, like I was thinking, or something like that. You know, you can fun trick to do with Near Hub is scoring out a breaking news and then having 1 click left to go trash something that's really important to them, whether it's with Biotic or Sansan or just bluffing it out on the field like that. You know, it's definitely a tempo hit.
I felt like this made no sense. And, well, no. I get it, but I felt like there was no reason for this to occur the way that it did.
Yeah, it's not a super stack Katie or anything like that. Maybe it was just too, you know,
I mean, there's if I'm looking at it, there's actually not a Katie Jones on the field.
No.
So
you just put John Mass down.
Right. So I'm thinking at this point, I'm pretty sure in my head he's flooded. When I see him play that, and then he doesn't actually, then he scores it the turn afterward, and there's not a reason to have saved it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he's flooded, and he's looking for the combo piece to score the agenda outright.
Yeah, you put it down because that's the one card, that's the one agenda in your hand if you flood it that you don't mind them sealing because it's like it's only 1 point.
Right.
And just get it out, and if you could score it next turn, hey, sweet, cool, I got a point.
Right.
That may or may not be what happens here, but we'll see. And it looks like Code Gates be damned versus you at the moment.
Right. Well, I mean, at this point, I know that I have to be blitzy. I've got to get all the breakers possible. I can't let Architect trigger.
And yeah.
So I have to go. And so what I do is I go hunting. I find the cards that I can that'll let me in, get me in as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
And as efficiently as possible. And I think it's a Switchblade.
It is a Switchblade, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Blue cards with blue glare. Yay. Switchblade. Yeah.
So I know that I can break through Errand Boy and Architects and things like that, and Switchblade because I have a Silencer out and two of those Cloaks. I don't think I'm going to run into a stealth issue. So
yeah.
I pretty much accept it's time to go ahead and play it, get it out as fast as possible.
Yeah, and there's nothing huge in Near Hub that would require a ton of stealth credits be spent on one piece of ice.
No, it's mostly. Really, it comes down to making sure I have enough money for NAPDs to score, but that's it.
Right.
I did check the remote just in case. I hit security testing, and then I wanted to see what it was. And then there you can see, he's tossing Code Gate. So I know he doesn't have faith in the Code Gate game right now.
Oh, no. I mean, unless it's like... Well, no. Refractor is just so efficient, as well as Switchblade. It's at this point, you've got 3 stealth credits out there for use of both. It's just, man, you're doing good. Once
it's
that
not going to cost me
anything.
Field, yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty inexpensive to get through.
Normally the problem in this situation is basically
and this is actually where my brain changes. When I see this, when I see him do that, I am pretty confident that he's either flooded or he doesn't have combo pieces.
He put out a Beal. Like he if you're gonna, he bluffed it out again. And if you're going to do that and you trust yourself to kind of maybe possibly... Well, no, it's not that you trusted yourself. You put it out there because he possibly is flooded, and you got to put it out there.
Right.
And you could pull off a legwork right now and wreck him.
Right.
It seems like he's forced to bluff rather than just like, I'm going to make a quick snarky...
Yeah.
Not snarky, but...
Because I'm thinking on the remote. I'm thinking on the remote right now. There's probably a barrier breaker. I don't have a barrier breaker, so not much I can do about that. But I'm pretty confident. Yeah, and I'm pretty confident if he could res a barrier, he would have done it before when I didn't have it.
Right.
So basically, my thinking is on R&D right now. I'm thinking maybe that's a pop up into a wraparound, which is awesome for him. And then I'm thinking that's an errand boy into a code gate, and the remote is a barrier breaker. At least that's a guess. That's all guesses, but I think they're pretty good guesses.
Yeah, and Zach the Man is up 3-0 at the moment. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Potentially looking good.
Yep. There right there is a legwork. So
woo!
I played a silencer into a legwork, so I know that I've got 2 stealth credits left. So basically, this run is, unless that's a barrier, this run is free. Doesn't cost me anything other than the 2 for the legwork.
Yep.
And I know that I'll have 4 to still NAPD if I hit it.
Yeah.
So I figure why not.
Yeah. So you run. He can't. Oh man, you run.
Astro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You
Fast
run,
track.
You run and doesn't res that second piece of ice, and you steal 2 Astros. It looks like he was flooded.
Yep, I mean, and that's got to hurt because that's the main combo piece. Now in his defense, 3 agendas are 3 points already scored, so only 1 more Astro is required, and then he can still combo out the rest of the game.
Yeah, you can score off a Sansan, you can pull 2 biotic plays, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's the versatility of Near Hub. That's why it's so good.
Yep.
At this point, having those points scored, taking Astros aren't the end of the game for you.
Right.
Unfortunately, it looks like he drew a bunch of agendas, and he just wasn't able to protect them or get rid of them reliably.
Yeah, I mean, it really hurts when those combo pieces for NEH doesn't come out. I mean, it's kind of a glass cannon, to that effect because it's not going to tax you. It's not going to last to a long game. Pretty much the ice is binary, and the point of it is to keep you out, as early as possible. I'm pretty confident though after pulling those two Astros, I'm pretty confident he's flooded and that he's probably. I was thinking maybe he's got 1 more. So his hand was at 5, and all I could think of was he's got to have 1 more agenda in his hand. So I pulled. Out of the 3, that were there, I got 2.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I should probably go for the next one.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if that is I still don't know if that's a barrier breaker in the remote, but I know that if I don't hit both the unres card that's naked and try for that remote that is protected, I'm in trouble. Because if he gets an agenda, I'm in trouble.
Out of that. Not cheated. He's already scored 2 agendas that way. Like you gotta keep him honest.
Yep.
But who knows? I mean, you pulled out 2 agendas. It looks at one point he had 3 or 4 in his hand. So you run smack dab into an Eli on the covered remote. Yeah, it's looking kind of weird. You know, you were behind, and then now it's looking really great for you.
That's right. I mean, I think he kind of expected the bounce because I mean most of the time you'll bounce off of a Eli.
Yeah. So this is you profiting off of keeping him honest, and it's and there's not much keeping you out, and having Eli being clickable, it's just worked in your favor.
Yeah.
Again, the agenda suite in Near Hub could either make or break you, pretty much.
I mean, you have to get the Astro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Astro is the agenda that's going to do everything for you.
Right.
A lot of times, if the situation is dire, you'll even play in a non-optimal way just to make sure you have the Astro in hand and take that risk.
Yeah. It's not called the Astro train for nothing. But it looks like the train did not leave the station in this game, and not that Near Earth Hub relies on chaining Astros for the win, because it most certainly does not. It just makes it a whole lot easier, and he chooses to go ahead and score out that breaking news, that second breaking news to, just kind of get him out for you not to steal him. And it does look like he has a Biotic Labor in hand too.
Right. So I mean, it could very well be over.
Is it though? Maybe.
There it is. What I thought was in my head that during it was the turn, I think it was the turn or 2 turns before that I hit the legwork for the 4 points that I thought it was flooded. And so then I started thinking, all right, so in the beginning of the game when he threw a card away, he threw it away because it was useless. He threw away an Enigma because it already had the refractor.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could think of was, all right, if he's flooded right now, maybe he can't score NAPDs. Maybe he's tossing the NAPD away, thinking that I won't run for 1 card again. So I decided, let's just call that bluff. Let's hit archives. Let's take a peek and see if like you said, keep it honest. And basically that's what effectively got me those last 2 points. Is I counted on him bluffing again. So.
Yeah. Well, another great game. Always a pleasure having Zach on the cam. Always a pleasure having you on the cam as well.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys coming out and checking out the video, and hopefully we'll have more soon for you guys to check out.
Heck yeah. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy.